Hi, this is Paul Evans from the 1010.life, and in this portion of the framework, we're going to look at our body. We'll continue to look at that, and our manna, our nutrition. First, a disclaimer. The information on this site is provided for informational purposes and is not meant to substitute for the advice provided by your own physician or other medical professional. Information and statements regarding dietary supplements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. All right, so I'm giving you knowledge and background from my own experience, but make sure that you're talking to your own personal nutritionist or physician before going about any changes in your diet, etc. 1 Corinthians 6:19. We have been bought with a price, therefore honor God with your body. So the healthier we are, the longer we can serve and the more effectively we can serve. The big key to that is our nutrition, what we eat, our manna. Because our bodies are fragile. You've probably noticed that you can eat certain things and suddenly your heart rate gets up or you feel sluggish. Some people can take caffeine, drink caffeine and a cup of coffee, and they get wired. Guess what? It doesn't really affect me because I'm kind of a hyperactive already. So our systems are fairly fragile. But the good news is that we can control that, and the more that we learn about the way our body reacts to certain foods or supplements, guess what? The more we can leverage that knowledge. So our bodies overall are fragile, but we want to move to fueled. Instead of food just being entertainment. Now, some people will say you just want to eat for fuel 100%. But the truth is, there are times where we're going to go out eat with our friends and family, and we don't want to have all the regulations. We want to have a good time. But if every single meal is about it being this party, every single meal is just a craving and not fuel, then we're not going to feel our best. We're not going to be our strongest, and we're not going to serve long term because chances are pretty high if our diet is not right, we're not going to live as long, period. Now, I'm not saying that we've got to get extreme and that we have to avoid, X and you never eat sugar again or you never eat flour again. And some people do that and that's their choice and it's cool. But what I want to help you with is a very simple concept, a very simple process to understand nutrition so that you feel empowered and you're not feeling like that you've got to do everything under the sun or understand every micronutrient. 1 Samuel 28:22. Now please listen to your servant and let me give you some food so that you may eat and have strength to go on your way. Food is for our strength. It's the reason we're able to function. So we don't need to look at food as the enemy, but instead as fuel, that it's going to make us strong and it's going to really help us become what we need to become. So when we look at what manna is, what nutrition is, there's water, protein, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. Water, obviously, is the largest component that we have in our bodies. Without that, without hydration, we wither up. When all the water leaves our bodies at the end, guess what? We are extremely fragile and very dust-like. So we've got to make sure that we're consuming enough water. A lot of times, the general rule is 8 glasses of water a day, 8 to 10 glasses, and that's fine. But whether or not you regulate it, you just want to make sure that you're getting enough. That's the real key. Protein. The amount of protein is going to be determined by what your goal is. Someone like me that wants to have more lean muscle mass is going to eat about 2 grams of protein per pound of lean body weight. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat about 150 to 200 grams of protein a day. So that's going to be my goal, roughly. Fats. Most of the time we get plenty of these in any foods that we're eating, but we do want to concentrate on healthy fats like omega-3s, fish fats, healthy fats that come in nuts, etc. Carbohydrates. We do want slower to digest carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, and like some heavier, denser grains. Anything that is fibrous is good. What we do want to avoid as much as possible is glucose-based carbohydrates and sugars as much as possible. Like, even though I'm not adamant about never drinking a soda, if all we're drinking is soda, or here in the South, sweet tea, those are not healthy carbohydrates. Those are carbohydrates that if they're not used immediately, they are going to be stored, and they'll be stored as fat. That's the reason we're careful with our carbohydrates, is even though we need those for energy, what we need to make sure that we're doing is that we're regulating them. I've got a video that I did at one point that explained the personality types of, of nutrients. So carbohydrates are extroverts. They're excited. They want to be used up. They want to, go, 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 go. They're immediate. But if they're not used, then they get stored as fat. Fats, on the other hand, are introverts. They do not want to be used first. They want to be used last. That's why burning fat can be such a challenge. And if carbohydrates are present, guess what? That's going to be our first fuel. And then proteins are just there. They're more the building blocks. They're there to make us stronger. They're there to strengthen our muscles. But carbohydrates and fats are the primary fuel sources. Vitamins and minerals. These are the elements that maintain balance in our body, that they help us become healthier. They're not necessarily energizers unless it's something like B12 that does give us energy, but they are regulators. And even though a lot of nutritionists do not like people taking any sort of multivitamin, I actually recommend that personally. Up to you to follow that advice. But I think that helps us ensure that we're getting them. What we don't want to do is just take the pill and end up eating Skittles all day and think I got my vitamins because I'm taking this pill. We still want to focus on vegetables that are going to help us and provide those vitamins and the minerals, such as spinach, broccoli, green beans, things along those lines. And I'll give you a resource at the end where you can go and look up some things that are a lot more healthy. So you've got this worksheet in the workbook. And here's the way that it's laid out for me. Water is the largest component, then protein, then fats, then carbs, then vitamins and minerals. Probably the only thing that should switch too much on this list would be your protein, fats, and carbs, deciding how much you're going to eat of each of those. Most people, where I have proteins, it's where most people's carbs are. Fats is the same, and then where carbs are is where most protein is for the average person. I like having a majority of protein because I'm doing a lot more resistance training, and I'm going to get stronger, and I'm going to get healthier muscle tone wise. And so I want a majority of my meals to be protein. So I probably have about 40% of what I eat, 40 to 50% of what I eat is protein. 30% roughly is fat, and then about 20% is carbs for me. So that's my diet. You get to choose your own, you get to make up your own, but I'd encourage you to use this chart so that you see at the bottom is what you're doing the most of, should be water. Then what's your next component, your next, and then vitamin and minerals. And this is going to help you get a handle on your meals of what you're eating and why you're eating it. Now, a lot of people would just simply say what you want to do is that when you sit down to eat, you want a protein portion about the size of your fist, and you want carbs about the size of 2 fists. And if you do that, you're going to get plenty of fats in there. You're going to have plenty of carbs as long as they're healthy, and you're going to get full as well. You're not going to feel like you are starving yourself, which I do not believe in at all. You also have this worksheet as well, and it's blank for you, but it's called My Manna, and it has breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is a layout of what I do in the average day. Again, it's totally up to you. You get to do with it what you want, but I do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I do a pre-workout drink, snack, and bedtime. So breakfast, 3 eggs, 2 bacon, 1 scoop of protein. My protein is called muscle recovery, and so that is something that I take, and that's totally up to you. I've got a link in a minute if you want to check it out. But breakfast is going to give me roughly 49 grams of protein, 23 grams of fat, 4 carbs, and muscle fuel is what I take prior to my workout. And then I go to the gym, come home, and eat breakfast. My snack mid-morning is almonds and a drink called Spark. Lunch, for example, could be salmon, broccoli, sweet potatoes. It's going to give me 46 grams of protein, 26 grams of fat, 40 carbs. And my snack in the afternoon is going to be a standard protein bar. Dinner is steak and green beans, 52 grams of protein, 19 fat, 5 carbs. And then at bedtime, I take something called Recovery PM. And then also with lunch and dinner, I'll take a multivitamin called Coreplex. So this is a very simple system. It gives me a lot of energy. It allows me to be very healthy. Are there cheat days? Not necessarily days, but there are meals. If I'm going over on Sunday to eat with my family, guess what? Hey, I'm going to not be, quote, good. I'm going to eat what I want without a thought. So I'm not worried about this. This is not such a strict regimen that there are no options to change. I like to keep up with what I'm eating on myfitnesspal.com. Myfitnesspal.com if you want to use something to keep up with what you're eating. And it's easy to look up foods and make sure that you're getting all your nutrients. Whole30 is what a lot of people are doing right now. And it is a lot more strict than what I do. But for those of you who want something more strict and who want to follow a very precise regimen of whole food eating, that is a recommendation for you that you can just go and check out. As far as what I do, the 1010.life/elite lists some of the products that I use, supplements that I use: Muscle Fuel, Muscle Gain, Nighttime Recovery, Coreplex, and Spark. So you can check all of those out on that site if you want to. So that's it as far as Manna. Guys, I don't want you to overthink it. I do not want you to try to overproduce a diet regimen that is super difficult. Understand that you need water, protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Make those as healthy as possible. And also you want to make sure that you are getting the vitamins and minerals that you need. Again, if you want something more complex, you can go to Whole30. If you want to check out my supplements, you can go there. But make sure that you're doing the worksheets. And if you want to use this each and every day to keep up with what you're eating, that'd be great. Or you can use MyFitnessPal if you want to do that as well. All right. In the next training, we're going to look at muscle. How do we work out? How do we create a very simple plan, a very sustainable plan that is going to help create lean muscle, not musculature and bodybuilding muscles, but how do we train for fitness? And how do we make sure that we make our heart healthy as we work out as well? So I'll see you in the next training. As always, live full.